Hello, everyone. Today, I'm here to share an incredible, true story, one that'll tug at your heartstrings. The Titan lion's roar reunited him with his broken owner, a heartbreaking farewell. Picture this, a massive lion roaring at an old man after 10 years apart. Why did they reunite? And why a farewell? Stick with me to the end, because the reason will leave you in tears. I promise, it's a roller coaster of emotions you won't forget. Let's dive in. We're starting in a small, dusty village in South Africa, right now in 2025. Imagine a harsh, sun-scorched land, golden sand stretching endlessly, the sun blazing down like it's trying to burn everything alive, and barely a tree in sight. Maybe 5 scraggly ones if you're lucky. The village is a patchwork of tattered shacks, huddled together in this vast desert, where folks fight every day just to find water and food. Amid this tough scene stands Henry, known as Henry the Wandering Storyteller. He's 70 years old, with wild, white hair like dried grass, and a frail body that looks like a strong wind could knock him over. On his head sits an old, beat-up hat with lion fur stitched onto it. Thick, golden fur that shines like it came straight from a majestic beast. In his shaky hand, he grips a wooden cane carved with a proud lion's image, a memory he carries everywhere. Every night, Henry sits by a tiny fire outside his shack, telling tales of Jabu the Titan, a giant lion he swears was his best friend. The villagers laugh, shaking their heads, calling him crazy old Henry. Lions don't make friends with people, they scoff. But let me ask you right now, folks, if someone you love told you a wild story like that, would you believe them? Or would you laugh it off like these villagers? Think about it, because Henry's story isn't just some tall tale, and it's about to break your heart wide open. Let me take you back 10 years, to 2015, when this whole story began, when Henry wasn't the frail old man you see today. Back then, he was a hunter, a rugged guy with a rifle, stalking through the South African bush to put food on the table for his struggling village. It wasn't a proud job, but it was survival. Kill or starve, that's how it worked. One chilly morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon and fog clung to the dry grass, Henry was out on his usual hunt. He heard a faint whimper in the distance, so he crept closer, pushing through thorny bushes. What he saw stopped him cold. A tiny lion cub, no bigger than a large dog, trapped in a steel snare, trembling next to its dead mother. A lioness shot down by poachers for her hide and claws. That cub was Jabu. His soft fur was matted with dirt, his big, round eyes shimmering with tears of fear and pain. Henry later said he'd planned to walk away. Let nature take its course. The weak don't survive in the wild. But when he locked eyes with Jabu, something hit him hard, like a punch to the chest. Those eyes weren't just begging. They were screaming for a chance to live. For the first time in his hunting life, Henry dropped his rifle, knelt down, and pulled out his knife. With shaky hands, he cut the snare, wire by wire, until Jabu was free. He scooped the cub into his arms, feeling its weak heartbeat against his chest, and carried it home to his shack. For the next 2 years, Henry raised Jabu like his own son. He shared scraps of dried meat, wrestled with him in the dusty fields every afternoon, and slept beside him on cold desert nights. Jabu grew fast, towering twice the size of a normal lion. With a mane like a golden shield and a deep scar across his face from the day, he leapt in front of Henry to fight off attacking poachers. They weren't just owner and pet. They were soulmates, bonded beyond species. And it's that bond that'll break your heart by the end of this tale. But then, everything changed. In 2017, a brutal drought hit the village like a sledgehammer. The river dried up completely. The ground cracked open like a shattered windshield. Trees withered into skeletons, and folks were so desperate they ate wild grass just to survive another day. The village racked up debts buying water from shady dealers miles away, with interest rates so high they'd never dig out of that hole. Henry couldn't bear watching the kids, little ones with hollow eyes, starve to death in front of him. He made the toughest call of his life. He sold Jabu to a wildlife reserve 31 miles away to scrape together enough cash to buy water and food for everyone. That day haunts him still. He stood by the reserve's truck, tears streaming down his face, as Jabu was locked in a steel cage. With trembling hands, he cut a chunk of fur from Jabu's mane, stitched it to his old hat, and whispered through sobs, "I'll come back for you." Jabu, I swear I will." But that promise fell apart. The drought took everything. His sweet wife, his 2 little kids, all lost to hunger and sickness. Henry's been alone ever since, drowning in guilt for abandoning Jabu. Fast forward to 2025. He's battling lung disease, coughing up blood daily, and the doctor gave him weeks to live. But Henry refuses to die without seeing Jabu again, the friend who saved him, the friend he betrayed with that broken promise. So, with shaky legs and a heart full of regret, he left his shack, clutching his lion fur hat and carved cane, determined to trek 31 miles through the scorching desert for one last reunion. "Even if I die out there," he told himself, "I'll die knowing I tried." Oh, folks, can you feel the weight of that promise? It's tearing me up just thinking about it. Meanwhile, 31 miles away at the wildlife reserve, Jabu's now Jabu the Titan, a legend in his own right. He towers over every lion there, twice their size, with a mane that glows like the sun and that same deep scar across his face. For years ago, he took down 3 rival lions in a fierce fight to claim his territory. Folks still talk about it. But here's the strange part. Every single day, Jabu stands by the iron fence, staring toward the village, his sharp eyes fixed on the horizon like he's waiting for someone. A ranger told me. He's not normal, stands there for hours, doesn't eat, doesn't rest, like something's pulling him back. So, here's the question, folks, after 10 long years, does Jabu still remember Henry? And can Henry, frail as he is, make it across that brutal desert to see him? Stick with me for the next part to find out. Now, let's bring this home. A 2023 study in the US found over 60% of pets, like dogs or cats, remember their owners years later. Jabu's proof of that, and it hits me deep. Life gets busy, right? We lose touch with friends, family, pets. My advice to you amazing moms and sisters out there: call someone you missed today, hug your furry buddy. For me, loyalty's everything. What about you? Got a story of faithfulness? Drop it in the comments. I'm dying to hear from animal lovers like you. All right, folks, let's pick up right where we left off in part 1. Henry, our 70-year-old wandering storyteller with his lion fur hat and carved cane, has just stepped out of his tattered shack in that dusty South African village, heading into the vast desert to find Jabu, his giant lion. Picture this. The sun's a blazing fireball overhead, scorching the sand to a blistering heat that burns through Henry's worn-out shoes. Hot winds whip around him, flapping that lion fur hat like a flag of hope in a sea of despair. He's coughing hard, each breath a raspy wheeze from his failing lungs, wrecked by disease. The villagers watch him shuffle away, shaking their heads. One mutters, "Crazy old man's off to chase his imaginary lion again." No one lifts a finger to help, no one believes him, but Henry doesn't care. With trembling legs, he trudges forward, clutching a tiny water bottle, driven by a desperate need to see Jabu one last time. Meanwhile, 31 miles away at the reserve, Jabu the Titan, twice the size of any lion, with a mane like a golden fortress, paces restlessly by the iron fence. Suddenly, he freezes, nostrils flaring as a familiar scent rides the desert wind. He lets out a roar, not just any roar, but that rare double roar, a thunderous sound that echoes like a call across the miles, startling birds into a frantic flight. Folks, what's happening here? Could Jabu sense Henry out there? This is the start of a gut-wrenching journey that'll keep you on edge. I can feel the tension building already. Henry's been trekking for 2 days now, covering 12 miles in 104-degree heat that'd break most of us. His little water bottle's bone dry, his lips cracked and bleeding, his vision blurring from sweat and sand stinging his eyes. He pauses, leaning on his cane, gasping for air, staring at the horizon where the reserve lies 19 miles away. Then, out of nowhere, a brutal coughing fit hits. Blood sprays from his mouth, staining the sand red. Henry collapses, sprawled out in the desert, whispering hoarsely, "Jabu, I'm so sorry. I can't let you down again." Back at the reserve, Jabu's growing wilder. He charges the fence, claws slashing at the dirt, letting out that double roar over and over, shaking the ground. The staff rush over, panicked. One yells, "He's gone nuts. We gotta lock him down." They aim tranquilizer guns, fingers twitching on the triggers. Folks, this is Jabu's first freakout in 10 years, And I'm telling you, it's no coincidence. He knows Henry's out there, fighting to reach him, and it's tearing him apart. Think about it. Ever had a pet just know you were in trouble? That's what's happening here. A bond so deep it defies distance. In the US, we've all heard those stories of dogs waiting by the door for owners who never come home. Jabu's living that pain right now, and Henry's fading fast. My heart's pounding just picturing him alone out there. Will he make it? Hang on, because the stakes are about to skyrocket. Just when it seems all hope's lost, a goat herder stumbles across Henry, sprawled lifeless in the sand. He rushes over, splashing water from a leather pouch onto Henry's parched lips, shaking him. Hey, old man, wake up. Henry's eyes flutter open, his breathing shallow, and he croaks, I've got to go. Jabu's waiting for me. The herder frowns. You're not going anywhere. You'll die out here. But Henry shoves his hand away, gripping his cane to stand, his voice a raspy growl. I'd rather die than not see him. The herder sighs, leaves him a small water pouch, and walks off, muttering, crazy fool. Henry staggers on, every step a battle, but his eyes burn with a fierce resolve to reach Jabu. Back at the reserve, Jabu's double roars echo louder, rolling across the desert like a desperate plea. A young staffer peers through a security cam, whispering, he's never acted like this, something's up. Folks, here's the hidden truth. Jabu's not losing it. He's calling out to Henry across 31 miles, a cry only a soulmate could hear. I've heard real stories like this in the States, a cat trekking 100 miles to find its family after a move. Jabu's doing the same, sensing Henry's fight. It's that unbreakable loyalty hitting us right in the chest. Can you feel it? I'm tearing up thinking about Henry pushing through, fueled by love and guilt. He's closer now, but the real drama's just beginning. Brace yourselves. After 3 grueling days, Henry finally staggers up to the reserve. He's a wreck, gasping for breath, hands trembling as they clutch his lion-carved cane, standing before a 10-foot iron fence. Through the bars, he spots a massive figure. Jabu the Titan, bigger than any lion he's ever seen, his golden mane glowing in the fading light, that scar across his face a badge of their shared past. Jabu locks eyes with him and charges the fence, letting out a double roar that shakes the earth. Henry jumps back, heart pounding, collapsing in shock. The staff nearby freak out. One shouts, he's attacking, shoot him. They aim tranq guns, ready to fire. But Henry scrambles up, screaming through his ragged throat. No, don't shoot. That's my Jabu. He throws himself against the fence, tears streaming down his weathered face. Jabu stops dead in his tracks. He sniffs the lion fur on Henry's hat, those fierce eyes softening. And then, oh, folks, this'll get you. He flops down, pressing his huge head against the bars, nuzzling toward Henry like a long-lost brother. It's a moment that'd melt the hardest heart. After 10 years, Jabu knows Henry by that old scent alone. I'm choking up here. This giant, kingly lion turning gentle for a broken old man? That's the kind of love that hits you deep. You feel it too, right? But hold on tight, because this reunion's about to take a dark, thrilling turn. This sweet reunion doesn't last long, folks. That night, as Henry rests by the fence, still reeling from seeing Jabu, danger creeps in. A gang of poachers, ruthless guys who'd sell their souls for a buck, sneak into the reserve through a gap in the woods. They've heard whispers about Jabu, this legendary lion with a mane worth thousands on the black market. Under the dim moonlight, they set a steel trap near the fence, sharp spikes and twisted wire, ready to snag their prize. Henry hears footsteps, his heart racing as he peers into the dark. He spots 3 shadowy figures, one with a rifle, murmuring, "That lion's ours tonight." Without a second thought, Henry lurches forward, shouting, "Stay away from Jabu." A poacher spins around, shoving him hard to the ground, sneering, "Back off, old man. We're here for that mane." Jabu, on the other side, lets out a double roar that rips through the night, fierce and primal, like a warning from the king himself. Folks, this is where it gets intense. Henry's helpless against these armed men, and Jabu's trapped behind bars. My stomach's in knots imagining this. 2 soulmates facing a threat they can't fight together. I've seen it in the States. Moms standing up to protect their pets from harm, no matter the odds. That's Henry right now, throwing himself into danger for Jabu. Can you feel the stakes climbing? This is about to explode into something wild. Keep listening. It's do or die now, folks. The poacher presses his gun to Henry's head, snarling, "Shut it, or I'll end you both." Henry's on the ground, blood dripping from his mouth as he chokes out, "Jabu, run." But Jabu doesn't run, he fights. With the strength of a freight train, this titan lion slams into the fence, claws tearing at the iron bars until they bend and snap. One final crash, and a chunk of the fence collapses. Jabu leaps out, a blur of gold and fury, tackling the poacher holding Henry. His massive paws rip the guy's jacket to shreds, sending him sprawling. The other two panic. One fires a shot, and the bullet slams into Jabu's back leg. He roars in agony, a gut-wrenching sound, and crumples to the sand, blood pooling around him. Henry sobs, crawling to him. "No, Jabu, don't die on me. I'm begging you." Even wounded, Jabu drags himself up, shielding Henry with his body, roaring that double roar to scare the poachers off into the night. Folks, this is raw heroism. Jabu giving everything to protect Henry, just like he did 10 years ago. I'm shaking telling you this. A lion so mighty, yet so tender, risking it all for an old man who's all he's got left. Can you picture it? The blood, the tears, the love, it's overwhelming. This is their moment, but it's hanging by a thread. Jabu's roars finally wake the reserve. Rangers sprint over, flashlights cutting through the dark, finding Jabu collapsed beside Henry, his leg a mess of blood, the poacher's long gone. A young ranger kneels by Jabu, shaking his head. He's hurt bad. Don't know if he'll pull through. Henry clings to Jabu, tears soaking that golden mane, whispering, "You saved me again, Jabu." Another ranger grabs Henry's arm. "Sir, we've got to get him to a vet." But Henry shoves him off, sobbing, "Don't take him. I can't lose him again." Jabu's breaths are shallow now, his eyes half open, locked on Henry like he's holding on just for him. Folks, this is where it sinks in. Jabu didn't just recognize Henry. He waited 10 years by that fence, every day, for this moment. I read once that in the US, over 80% of pets remember their owners after years apart. Jabu's living proof, waiting a decade for Henry. It's breaking my heart to see them like this, fighting to stay together. Let's bring it home. We've all got people, or pets, we've drifted from. Life's hectic. Work, kids, bills. But Jabu and Henry scream at us to hold tight to what matters. My advice to you incredible women out there, don't let time steal your bonds. Call that friend you miss, cuddle your dog tonight. Don't wait till it's too late. For me, loyalty's the truest thing we've got, and Jabu's putting his life on the line to prove it. If you were Henry, facing this moment, what would you do to save Jabu? Drop your thoughts below. I'm aching to hear from you animal lovers, you big-hearted moms and sisters who feel this as deep as I do. The end's near, folks, and it's gonna hit hard. Stay with me. All right, folks, here we are, the final chapter, the one that'll rip your heart out, just like the title says. The Titan lion's roar reunited him with his broken owner, a heartbreaking farewell. Picture this. Jabu the Titan, this majestic beast with a mane like a golden crown, lies bleeding on the sandy reserve ground, his back leg torn up from that poacher's bullet. His breaths are shallow, each one a struggle, fading fast. Henry, our 70-year-old hero, wraps his frail arms around Jabu, tears pouring down his wrinkled face, soaking into that blood-streaked mane. The rangers stand in a hushed circle, flashlights casting a soft glow on this tragic scene. No one dares break the silence. An older ranger steps forward, voice low and heavy. "Henry, we moved Jabu to another reserve 5 years back, 124 miles away. But he kept coming back here, standing by this fence, staring toward your village. We didn't get it then, but now we do. He waited for you, 10 long years." Henry breaks down, sobbing as he strokes Jabu's mane. "I'm so sorry, Jabu. I left you behind, but you never gave up on me." Jabu's eyes flicker open one last time, those fierce, kingly eyes now cloudy with pain, locking onto Henry like he's saying goodbye. Then, he lets out a roar, not the earth-shaking double roar of old, but a weak, trembling cry that cuts straight to your soul. His eyes close, his chest stills, and Henry wails, "Jabu, no, stay with me." But Jabu's gone, leaving Henry clutching him in agony. Folks, I'm tearing up. This is loyalty so pure it hurts to witness. Can you feel it? Henry hugs Jabu's lifeless body, tears mixing with the blood on that golden mane. He whispers his last story, voice cracking. Back then, you saved me from those poachers, and I swore I'd never leave you. I'm keeping that promise now, Jabu. He coughs violently, blood spilling from his lips onto the sand. The Rangers rush over. Henry, we've got to get you to a doctor. But he pushes them away, clinging to Jabu, gasping, I'm not leaving him. Not again. Then, he slumps over, his hands still tangled in Jabu's mane, clutching that lion fur hat. The Rangers say he passed right there, like he couldn't live without Jabu by his side. They buried them together under an ancient baobab tree in the reserve. Same spot where Jabu waited 10 years for Henry. A young ranger said, they belong together, even in death. Folks, this is the most shattering goodbye I've ever told. Henry and Jabu reunited, only to leave this world as one. I'm wrecked imagining them there. Henry's broken body next to his Titan lion, peaceful at last under that tree. Does it hit you hard too? It's not just an end. It's a mirror to our own lives, reflecting what really counts. So folks, it's a sad ending, but it's beautiful in its own raw way. Let's grade our heroes. Henry gets an A. He's a warrior, risking everything to right his wrong, trekking 31 miles through hell despite knowing his days were numbered. Jabu gets an A too, a lion with a heart of gold, sacrificing himself to save Henry, proving loyalty's stronger than any bullet. They're top tier, hands down, for a bond that transcends time. Here's the real talk. A 2023 US study says over 60% of us have lost touch with someone or some pet we loved. Henry and Jabu scream at us. Don't let that happen. My advice to you amazing moms and sisters, pick up the phone, call that friend you've drifted from, snuggle your pup today. Time slips away too fast. For me, their story says loyalty's worth living and dying for. What would you say to Jabu if you were Henry in that final moment? Share below. I'm dying to hear from you animal lovers, you big-hearted women who feel this deep in your bones. The takeaway? True friendship never forgets, even if it costs everything. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. If this moved you, hit like, subscribe, and let's keep these stories alive. See you next time.